is, can I read the Quran on my iPhone without wudhu? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran Kareem, لا يمسه إلا المطهرون, that only those people who are pure can touch the Quran Kareem. However, there are four opinions regarding this matter on whether you can read the Quran on your phone without wudhu. And I will mention the rajih, the common and preferred opinion, which is more correct in light of recent research, and that is that when the letters of the Holy Quran appear on the phone screen, on the tablet screen, on the iPad screen, then it will be permissible to touch the screen, to touch the letters and the device without wuzu. And the scholars that are of this opinion, they say that whatever data is displayed on the phone screen is actually a software, meaning it is something which cannot be physically touched, and therefore it will be okay to touch it without wuzu. For example, this is one of the examples provided, is if you were to write a Quran ayat on a paper and then you framed it in such a manner that the glass was not touching the paper, and then it would be permissible to touch the glass of that frame without wuzu, as you are not actually touching the letters of the Quran Kareem. So this is actually now scientifically correct as well. This is what the research shows on the phone, that whatever appears on our screens is actually in the form of a binary code, which is produced by the CPU and the RAM, and this binary code is converted to show us the letters of the Quran. So I think it's 1212, something like that, the binary code. And this is actually the opinion of the great Mufti of Pakistan, Mufti Taqi Saab, as well. So that is the more correct opinion. I will mention the other few opinions as well, just so we then bear in mind that we should also be considerate towards their opinions as well. So number two rather, if one has the Quran app downloaded on their device, then it will not be permissible to touch the device without wudu, regardless of if the letters of the Quran Kareem are appearing on the screen or not. So this is a very strong point of some of the scholars. They say if the Quran app is on the phone, you cannot touch the actual phone, the whole device, without the Quran Kareem. Opinion number 3, when the letters of the Holy Quran appear on the screen, then it will not be permissible to touch the screen, the letters, or the actual device itself. So they're saying when you open the Quran app now, you can't touch the screen, you can't touch the device. That was number 3. And number 4, when the letters of the Holy Quran appear on the screen, then it will not be permissible to touch that part of the screen on which the letters of the Quran Kareem appear without wudu. Touching the rest of the screen and the device will be allowed. So these last 3 are opinion of some of the scholars still now, and like I've told you, the more correct opinion based on research is that it will be permissible to read the Quran Kareem on the phone without wudu. However, we should bear in mind the azmat, the ihtiram, the adab of the Holy Quran, the greatness and the respect and the etiquette of the Holy Quran. We must bear in mind that this Quran is the Kalamullah. It is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it has some etiquettes that we must bring, and we must follow these etiquettes and observe these etiquettes. For example, one of the etiquettes of reading the Quran is to read it with wuzu. So even if a hafiz that can read the Quran Kareem off by heart or by memory, even a hafiz should still make wuzu before reading it. Similarly, it would be more rewarding for a person to have a physical copy of the Quran Kareem in front of them and read that Quran Kareem in the state of wudu. And like I've just told you, the opinion of the scholars is that the Quran that we read on our phone, they're not actually the letters of the Quran Kareem, it is just a representation of the Quran Kareem. So therefore, we're not even technically getting that reward of looking in the Quran Kareem. So for example, an example of this was if we put our Quran Kareem by the mirror and we read from the mirror, so we wouldn't actually be looking at the Quran Kareem, the letters itself directly. So it is more rewarding to sit with wuzu, to have the physical copy of the Quran Kareem in our hands and to read it. And furthermore, is when we read the Quran Kareem on our phones, you know, if you're like me, you have BBC Sport notifications, then you'll have other people who will have Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. They'll be every 2-3 minutes, they're getting some sort of notifications, WhatsApp notifications, and you will get a message where you just cannot resist. You know, yes, I have to reply back to this, and every 2-3 minutes, it's a distraction. You know, the purpose of reading the Quran Kareem is to read and have a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to read as much as possible. So reading on the phone, you do not have that same connection, you do not have that same concentration levels as you would reading normally. So the conclusion is yes, it is permissible to read on the phone without wuzu, but it is not encouraged. And mainly the person who asked me this question, he was a university student, and he said that I travel home on the tram from university and I don't have wuzu at the time, can I read? Yes. So somebody like that who's in a situation where he can't read, he can't make wuzu, then fine. There are some taxi drivers as well who, you know, whilst they are on break from their job, they're in the car, they don't have wuzu. Yes, you can read the Quran Kareem on your phone. So the conclusion, like I say again, is yes, it is permissible, but every effort should be made to make wuzu and to read the Quran with a physical copy in front of you.